enter into an agreement with Lowell Township to sell 2560 bows at a cost not to exceed $20,555, contingent upon them entering into a lease agreement with Virgin's Broadband and the agreement not to detach the property from the city.
And at the last, not the last meeting, 2 meetings ago, right? Jerry Hale was here, Virgin's Broadband was here, and they both seemed like it was a pretty good solution for both of them.
Yeah, I would say so.
With that, I'll make the motion to approve resolution 33-18.
I'll support.
Any discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl?
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic?
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers?
Yes.
Councilmember Canfield?
Yes.
And Mayor DeVore.
Yes. All right, no new business, so we'll go to board reports. Mr. Canfield?
The Parks and Rec Board met earlier, and Mike Minier and Courtney Ransom from the Lowell Little League came to visit us. And the Lowell Little League has 18 acres near the intersection of Foreman and Alden Nash. And there's some new blood in the organization. They got some new people, and they're going to try to move forward with developing that into some softball and baseball fields. And they're just kind of getting started on this and trying out to figure out how to raise some funds for that. But they're going to be coming in and talking to us in the future, and Virgin's Township and Lowell Township looking for support. But that has the potential to bring tournaments and stuff to town, which would be good. They have 18 acres there that they've had for a few years, and it'd be a good use for that property. So that was good news, and everything's happening.
Are they thinking about adult softball and baseball diamonds, or all for young and old?
They have different, some of them are 300 feet to the fence, some are 200, some are 100. So it's mostly for little league stuff, younger kids, but I think there's a little bit of everything. From what, and this is a rough draft of what they designed 6 years ago, and it's kind of just been sitting on the shelf, so they picked it back up and are trying to move forward with it and get some traction. I think it would be a good thing. And
Those tournaments travel really, really well. They're really well attended. You can get a whole day of baseball for.
little challenge is that there's not really enough parking there for what they're, the crowds that they'd be dragging in. So maybe they'd have to do like shuttle buses out to the high school or something. There's some hurdles to be dealt with yet, but nice to see that moving forward. The trail connector through the city of Lowell, because of timing, we weren't 100% ready. At the state's suggestion, we withdrew our MD&R grant requests, and we'll reapply in the spring for those. Things are still on track, that's moving along well, and we're working with some major donors to come up with the funding that we're short on at that point, but that's still moving forward. Good news there.
Cool.
That's it.
Mr. Chambers?
Planning Commission was canceled for this month, and Light and Power. Light and Power Board approved the purchase of new radios, 800 megahertz, right, Barry? Yes. For the trucks and the guys to have. The Kent County is investing in a lot of new towers, and basically almost everybody in the state. So when our guys go out to help a different community, they're basically going to be on the same radios as everybody else. They also approved the purchase of a new fire suppression system for the turbines down there at the generation plant. Much needed, be a lot better, make that whole room a lot safer. That's it.
Good. But nothing yet. Mr. Salzweedl?
The LCTV board met back in December, and all requests need to be in by February 8th at 5 p.m. to the City Hall. So there's a little over $105,000 out there to request, and we'll be meeting on February 26th to see who gets that funding. So that's it.
It's 3 times a year, right? 2 or 3? 2.
One time for LCDB.
Oh,
Yeah,
this one.
at one time, when we meet in February.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, DVA was canceled. The fire authority met. There's a lot of talk going forward about some full-time staffing. They put a whole presentation together. So they'll be here, what's our meeting, the 22nd?
22nd.
The 22nd to present that to us. And they'll be going the week before that to both townships to present the same thing. And it looks like the new truck is on schedule for a February delivery. So You gotta go up to Colorado and check it out and then figure out how to get it back here.
All right.
They can afford you to work, stretch cash. Any discussion, questions, changes on any of the monthly reports? Mike?
A couple things. First, I want to welcome Councilman Yankovic to the City Council. We met earlier today, went through an orientation, and I'm looking forward to working with him, and I know he has some really good ideas for the community, and I'm looking forward to working with him on that. I also want to welcome the Lowell Boy Scouts. They're here tonight. They're, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're working on your Eagle projects? Merit badge, I'm sorry. And, but welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to talk to you briefly about New Year's Eve. Want to see how the council would want to do this going forward. At the last Lowell Light Power meeting, the Light Power Board decided to give the employees that day off with pay. We could consider that here, or we could consider another option if we want to do that. From where I sit, I'm fine. Whatever the council would, if the council would want to entertain doing something similar to what Light and Power did. A couple of things that I would at least alert you to is what we did. Just for example, what we did the day before Thanksgiving. Light and Power shut down a couple hours early at 2 o'clock. We did the same. Basically, what we did for 2 hours, we paid the employees that were essential that couldn't, for example, patrol. We gave them 2 hours comp time, basically to alleviate any concerns for any arbitratable grievances. So we did that, and it seemed to be very positive. I got a lot of thank yous and all of that, and quite frankly, the employees deserve it. For New Year's Eve, and not to say our employees don't deserve it, they do. Something to consider though, if you were to do this, I would recommend a couple things. First off, I would recommend that whatever you do going forward. And the reason I say that is my concern is having sat on both sides of a bargaining table and on both sides of an arbitration grievance table, and you have 3 department heads who have been involved on both sides of the table in regards to collective bargaining. The concern is whatever you do, you really need to consider doing going forward, because what would happen is you could get hit with a past practice, which would be arbitratable. And if you decided one year you didn't want to provide let's say for example we gave them New Year's Eve off this year, next year you didn't provide it to them, you could run a grievance on that. And to say what would happen with an arbitrator, we don't know. But I would probably say that it would probably go against the city. But if you want to grant the day, that's fine. We would probably want to institute holiday. It would have to be deemed a holiday, meaning we have 2 labor contracts, the police and the DPW. So at least on the police end, you'd have to grant the holiday pay, and that would be the equivalent to about $1,100, which out of an $860,000 police budget, it's not a lot of money, but something to consider. Also run the risk that if we have to plow snow that day, double time for the DPW guys in addition to the day off. The other option could be, if you wanted to do this, is we could shut down at 2 and give everyone 8 hours paid, but they only work for 6. The essential people, I would assume probably the water plant, police department, you just give them 2 hours comp time. And you could do that, and I'm sure the employees would appreciate that as well. But wanted to run these options. I know Light and Power did this at their last meeting, and I shared my concerns, and they were noted. But I just want to, if we were to make a decision, I'd like to get council's feedback on what to do.
Is New Year's Eve currently a full 8-hour day?
For holidays? Yes, it is not a holiday, so yeah, we are open from 8 to 5. But it's not for our police and DPWs, and not deemed a holiday.
Has the past council set what days are holidays, or has it always been pretty much up to the city manager to staff to make those decisions, Mike?
Actually, the council designates holidays through the personnel manual, and the council approves the labor contracts, and the labor contracts spell out what days they are. We could, I mean, technically, if we changed it, you know, we're giving them an extra day. I don't think the unions are gonna object to an MOU changing it. But whatever you do, it's gotta be consistent. It just, we can't decide one year we don't wanna do it. That's where we get in trouble.
Is it being brought up because of the day of the week that it falls on?
Yes.
It is for
I'm
this year.
assuming.
Yeah, it is, and that's fine, but have to remember that.
So could we say anytime New Year's Eve is on a Monday?
I think you run into trouble.
Okay.
Probably the
I will tell you, I used to write grievances. I'd write a grievance on it.
They want the same when it's a Thursday.
exactly.
too,
Or a
right?
Saturday,
Or, yeah,
Sunday.
Right.
They're gonna pull that
Yeah,
4-day
well,
weekend.
then I wouldn't be paid
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Right.
This does, I think, put us in a little bit of a bad spot because I think that the city management and leadership, different departments have done a great job of eliminating a lot of the disharmony and grudges that were between different departments. So there's some pressure here to keep it consistent. But on the other hand, my understanding is Light and Power is just considering this a one-time event because it falls on a Monday. Is that correct, Perry?
That is correct, and we've talked to the steward, and they said, you know, they would never,
Yeah, unfortunately, we have different
Right,
stewards than you
right.
do. But looking at the financial shape that we're in, I have trouble giving, and we have great staff here. And I'd like to give them the day off also, but I have trouble saying from here on out, here's another holiday. There's a cost to that.
There is.
Yeah, there's an additional cost too if it's not, yeah.
Which is why I would think maybe if you wanted to do something, the 2 hours might be, I think would be
Yeah.
appreciative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it doesn't get
yeah.
us into a lot of issues.
Right, that doesn't open
No.
up cans of worms
No.
and situations going forward. It is a unique situation with Lowell Light Power. It's a one-time deal. But considering the fact that if we do it, it's going to be going
Forever,
forward,
yeah.
that I just have some reservations about that.
And we've done the 2 hour early.
We did that, but-
Past, and
yeah.
that seems to.
And that was, I mean, the response I had, I mean, we've had employees here almost 30 years, and some of them said they've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And they were I got emails from employees that I was shocked I get emails from. And it was very positive, and, you know, they were very appreciative. And that gesture in itself, I think they deserve that. I think, you know, common sense, common sense is pretty much from 2 o'clock on the day before Thanksgiving, there's not much being accomplished.
Right.
And there's not a lot of traffic, and I gotta think on New Year's Eve, the same thing's gonna happen. So, I don't have a problem with, you know, I'd like to give them something, and I'd like to give them something, and I'd like
I
to be
think
consistent
it's
about
a
it.
good compromise, I think, the couple hours, it recognizes.
And I think I can work it out with the unions, and it won't be an issue.
Okay.
So nothing we have to vote on, you just can do it.
No, I'll just do it, but I wanted to run it by you
Thank you.
before I did that. Also, obviously with the opting in the marijuana, I've been getting more calls from different commercial interests on the process, and right now we're waiting on Lara's regulations as to what we can do, and we obviously talked about the last council meeting how we're going to address the January committee of the whole on this. So we're starting to get those calls. The showboat, we just met on the showboat. Just to reiterate, last Wednesday I was in Lansing with Michigan Municipal League, just trying to address some lame duck issues. I had the opportunity to meet with the soon-to-be Senator Winnie Brinks and Senator Hildebrandt, and both are going to work with us to ensure that we keep the funding for a substantial period of time as we start to continue our fundraising on the showboat. This is the last week of the legislature for the legislative session. Still lame duck. There's a lot of lame duck bills out there. There's some good, some not so good. Trying to pay attention to to certain ones that really kind of piqued my interest. One that really piques my interest is the fireworks bill, reducing the number of days. I'd like to see that. I actually submitted a letter of support that the Senate passed that bill, and that it should let the House does as well. I will be on vacation from Friday to January 2nd. That's all I have. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
All right, thank you. To go along with your marijuana thing, we're doing Marty and I had talked about the planning commission joint meeting too.
That's what we're doing.
That's the committee of the whole, all at once.
Yeah, that's on 5:30, the 22nd.
All right, number 9, appointments. The board of review is all taken care of, right, Susie?
Yes.
Jeff and Deb did all that for us,
Mhm.
because they handle the board of review, so that's good. Construction Board of Appeals, I don't think we have any applications. And then just the one DDA spot. Is that including cliffs or without cliffs? Or do we,
We have 3 spots
We have
open.
3 spots open.
3 spots open and 2 applicants, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So Mike's is the only spot that we still need somebody for. Okay. And we still haven't heard on the historic commission, so, consensus on those board of review appointments? Jeff and Deb did all the legwork for us. And then I'll keep working on the DDA thing. Council comments, Mr. Canfield.
I would just like to welcome Cliff aboard. Your enthusiasm, knowledge, you've been a cheerleader for the community for a long time, and I think you're going to do great things for us. Thanks for stepping up and doing that, and I hope that after doing this for 6 or 8 months, whatever it is, you still run next November for another.
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
Mr. Chambers.
Again, I'd like to welcome Cliff to council. I took a long time and made his nameplate. I hope he truly appreciates it.
I'm taking it home.
Good. And I'd like to thank Brian. You guys do a good job, and it may not always come across that way, but you do. So, thank you. That's it.
All right. Cliff. You just
I'm happy to be here.
All right.
I'll do my best to get up to speed, and I hope we don't allow lighted headwear at future meetings. It's very distracting.
We're training you to look this way where all the good stuff happens down here.
Marty.
Mr. Salzweedl.
Again, welcome Cliff, and I want to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday, and that's about it.
All right. Happy holidays to everybody. Cliff, I'm super excited that you're here. I don't know. I think that's it. That's it. I'll look for a motion now to go to closed session so we can.
I'll make the motion to go into closed session.
I'll support that.
First support. All right. Motion and a second. Sue.
Councilmember Yankovic,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Canfield,
Yes.
Mayor DeFord,
Yes.
and Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,